Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of March, 2019, and it is my best friend's birthday! Anyway, it's very exciting for me, less exciting for you because you don't know her in person, possibly. And this is episode 36. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. How are you guys doing? I am okay. I am so very tired right now. I think it's the weather change. Um, I have taken like 4 naps in the past week, which I hadn't taken naps in a very long time just because I had been so busy. But this week I was like, nope, it's okay. Things will get done. Take a nap. Knitting will happen. And knitting did happen, and I still took naps. So that was really nice. I feel less icky in my throat, which is nice. It's still a little weird, I'm sure you can hear that, but less so. And I'm trying to think if there was anything big that happened this past week or worth noting. I don't think so. I think it's just been day to day around here. You know, regular life stuff, mom stuff, kid stuff. So let's get on with crafty stuff. Oh, Patreon prize. That is a thing. I did all the stuff, the random number generator. The way that Patreon prizes work is quarterly. It should have been at the beginning of this month. I should have done it, 3 episodes ago. Anyway, the way it works is every quarter I list out how many dollars someone has put into Patreon, and it's 1 entry per dollar, and then I draw a name out of a hat, and that person wins a prize. And this quarter's winner was Haley, Hales Knits, and I have the Compiato shawl that I knit that I don't particularly want, or Haley, get in touch with me and we'll figure out a prize for you. I'm sure between the two of us we can figure something out. I think so. So I didn't want you guys to think that I forgot again, because I didn't. I actually remembered this time. So crafty things, knitting, and crocheting. I finished all these things. This is the least exciting. Oh, you know what did happen? On Monday I had a class. It was to make a crocheted basket, and I only had 1 student, and I was like, oh, I kind of wish that they had canceled this class since there's only 1 student. It was a 3-hour class. At Joann's, you get paid by the student, and that meant that I couldn't go work at my other job. And I was like, okay. No. My student came in and made a basket about this tall in 35 minutes, so I went to my other job too. So that was kind of nice. It's just a Joann's class basket. I don't know what you would call the pattern, but you basically increase out 6 rounds and then do through the back loop for the 7th, and then the 8th round is straight up. So nothing super fancy. And they have you do where you chain right here, where you slip stitch and then chain 1 at the beginning of the round. I did not do that once I got to the top. I just spiral crocheted because I think that looks way nicer than having a seam. And I taught my student that too. I was like, okay, so this is what the instructions say, but this is how I do it in real life. So that was kind of nice. So yeah, just a basket that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Probably trim this end and throw it in a gift pile. I don't have use for it. And mine is out of 2 colors of Hometown USA because I have a lot of half balls of this left over from various projects. So I just took the half balls into the class. Not that it matters, but the recommended yarn for the pattern is Lion Brand Wool-Ease, but I don't want to have to buy a whole ball of Wool-Ease when this is less expensive and I don't actually have a use or need for this basket. So that was thing number one. Thing number two, things 2 through 4 are socks. So I finished all 3 pairs of socks that I was working on last week. First up is Golden Ticket by Lisa K. Ross in Premier Serenity Sock, the gray flannel colorway. I'm sorry about this screen shadow. I'm not sure what to do about it because my camera is right there on the screen. So I need the camera and I need the screen. So hopefully that's not too distracting. I'll try to remember to hold things in the light. So Golden Ticket has a all over knit and purl pattern, and there is a different pattern. You can't see it at the top of that one. Maybe you can see it at this one, at the top and the toe. I don't think you can see. You can see in person, but it can be difficult to photograph texture patterns. Yeah, so I knit this to pattern. Last week I was here as a toe-up sock, so I did all of this. My goal for the week was only to get to the heel, but then I was like, I got past the heel earlier in the, or maybe on Saturday, and I think I finished it on Monday. So yeah, that went super fast. All of my child sock knitting is now finished because that was for my son. Mara's was finished early in the year. The pink socks that I made earlier this month, I think, for my niece. And so here is nephew pair number 1. Also toe up. So I was here, did all of this. This is Croy socks in the coastal colors. This is a vanilla sock. It is knit, I knit them on 9-inch circulars. All of the socks right now are knit on 9-inch circulars. They knit up super, super fast. They're really good for work knitting, which is why I'm getting so much of it done, because I walk around for 2 hours and I help kids and do other things, but a lot of it is walking around, and I dropped a pair of socks. And so that's how I've managed to get so many pairs of socks done. I am a little astounded with my sock knitting ability this month, to be honest. I don't know how I did it. Probably because they're all vanilla, which was boring, but works very well for school. So yeah, this is number 2. And then this is nephew pair number 2, but sock finish number 3. So last week I was here on the first sock and it was worked toe up, so I did the entire leg and the cuff. And then I didn't show you the toe last week, but I told you I had it started. So I had the toe done and I did the entire sock. I don't know when I did all of this. I mean, I guess just at school and at general kid things, but I don't know. I'm a little astounded. I feel like maybe there were knitting fairies involved, although I do recall making all of the stitches and not having fairies come, but whatever. I also finished the mermaid. So I took the stitch marker out. I was somewhere in the tail last week, so I finished the tail. This is Blanca the Mermaid, which is a pattern by La Calle de Abuela. It's originally a Spanish pattern translated into English on the blog, and I think she's so cute. So I did the tail, I did the bra, and then I did the hair. It took probably 6.5 hours to do this hair, so that she could have all this hair going on. The tutorial in the pattern that is linked is in Spanish, but it's pretty easy to follow just looking at what what the tutorial says to do. I think it's totally worth the effort. The effect is great. Her hair is fabulous, but oh my gosh, 6 hours. It was the worst. I hated it. If I'm being completely honest, I think the doll is super, super cute. Um, I don't know that I will commit myself to anything like this in the near future because that's not what I like to do. I am not a person who enjoys finishing things. Like doing the finishing features of things. I enjoy having projects finished, but the finishing work is not my jam. So all of this extra fiddly stuff, and you guys know me, I don't love fiddly. I like intricate, but I don't like fiddly. This was fiddly. Totally cute, totally worth it, but just know that it took me 6 hours to do this hair. So if you're gonna make this mermaid, be ready for that commitment or make an adjustment to how you do the hair. So she's super cute. I'm gonna get her in the mail now shortly since I've shown her on the podcast. Hopefully my niece likes it. I think she's amazing, so I don't see why she wouldn't. And that brings me to the end of my finished things. However, I have an almost finished thing. This is the Aura pullover by Heidi May, and I am making the size small, I think. For the adult, it's smaller medium. And I'm making it because I found called for yarn in my stash that I didn't know I had in this purple colorway, which is perfect for my sister because that's her favorite color. And yeah, this is the 4th ball. I have 5. I don't know if I'm going to break into the 5th one. If I do, it's just going to be a very little bit. But here is what I have. So last week, I had this much, just this little panel. So I finished the entire front and the entire back. And now I am working up the cowl. It is quite a tall cowl. I will likely finish it today, but maybe not until tomorrow. And then I have to sew buttons on. So next week this will for sure be finished, which is really, really quick for a sweater, especially since I did all of that also in the time that I've been working on this sweater. The sweater is a paid for pattern, but it comes in size 2, so toddler 2, up to adult XL, I want to say. Yeah, and it's, a boxy style pullover that you do flat and then you attach with buttons on the side, and I think I'm probably going to have to make one for myself. We'll see how I feel about my sister's when it's finished. I will wear it around a little bit and see, but I think I'm going to make one for myself. I was considering making one for myself anyway, but this way I get to try it on, and if I don't like it, I don't have to commit to making myself one. I do also want to make one for my daughter still. I think that would be so cute, and that's going to happen first. And this sweater that I keep fidgeting with is the Sarah by Laura Ayler. It's the 2nd time I've made this sweater, and I don't know what's going on with it today. I think what's going on with it is that I've literally been wearing it all winter, and it needs a bath to reclaim its shape because I've, worn it to bed to sleep in and stuff. So it's just, it needs a little bit of a bath, and then it'll be fine. I do have 2 other works in progress. I have Carnival Bears, which I had up here anyway, so I figured I'd show you how much I have left. I'm trying to work on it when I watch vlogs on YouTube versus like podcasts. So whenever there's a vlog, I work on this because most of them are fairly short, so I don't feel like stifled working on the carnival bears. And then I also started a sock in Regia Perfect in the color 09139. I did a 60 stitch cuff, but then I decided I was going to do a pattern on the leg, and it was a 64, so I had to increase stitches. The pattern is called Pinstripe. It's by We Sheep Knits. I don't know that you can kind of see one of the stripes right there. It's a free pattern. It's slip stitches. I think, even though I'm walking around in the cafeteria, I think this will be too much to make sure, unless I put in stitch markers for every one of the slip stitches. I might do that, but it might be too much for working. It wouldn't be too much for walking in the park or going on a field trip or general walking, so I'll still work on it, but I think I'm going to cast on another pair of vanilla socks for working. I know I flew through this one, but I really just don't have a lot to say this week, which is probably why, well, that's not why I haven't recorded. I didn't record on Monday because I had that class, and then I didn't record yesterday because I hung out with my best friend whose birthday is today, and she's getting ready to move an hour away, like she's moving this week. So that's kind of a bummer, but she has to do what she has to do. You know what? I have one more work in progress. I set it in front of me instead of on the shelf, so I forgot about it. Do you remember when I was complaining about having to make a doll for my boyfriend, a wolf doll, and how I didn't want to do it? Well, you guys, I've started it. I mean, I had started it a while ago, but I restarted it. And so this is what it looks like. I used remnants from a skein of Croy in the Croy socks in the, what was it? Pink brown marl, maybe? So I used pink inside the ears and the lighter brown for the face and the hands. And I have started working with the black yarn for, I obviously did the ears, the outside of the ears. I started working on one of the arms. I'm totally going out of order of how it tells you to make things, but I've made patterns by Lally Lala before. So I'm using the Rocco the Raccoon as the basis for the wolf, and I'm just going to tweak the shapes of a few things to make it look like a wolf. And I just know how I like to put it together versus how the designer tells you to put it together. There's nothing wrong with how she tells you to put it together, but she has you sew the arms on, and I would rather just crochet them on. So that's why I'm doing them first. Most of the rest of it is crocheted together, but the arms get sewn on. I don't want to. So yeah, it's, and I am doing it out of black yarn, even though I had a discussion with him and he said that I could make the, we went through my stash and found like a dark blue marl Croy yarn, which is going to become socks in the near to mid future. We found that, and he was like, okay, that would be fine instead. But now that the sun is out, I feel much less crabby about the idea of working with black yarn for a substantial project. So that is going to be something that you'll be seeing, but I'm not working on it when he is home and awake. If he's home and sleeping, that's fine. But I kind of want him to think that I forgot about it. So that it can be a surprise on his birthday, which is next month. So yeah, that's all I have for you this week. I know it was super short. I just don't have things to say. Sometimes they're like that though, right? if you have questions about anything, leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you. I've been fairly decent about that in the past month or so. I would love to know what you're working on right now. And I am still, I guess the only other thing to talk about is I did start a reading blanket, and I'll bring that to show next week because I don't want to pause and go downstairs and get it, even though I could. I did start a reading blanket. There are details on Ravelry, but again, I'll show you next week. And I am really, really considering spinning 2 more skeins of yarn for the shawl knit along that starts in just about a month. I don't know. I tried spinning them on my spinning wheel, like spinning the fibers, and it's just been so long since I've spun on my wheel that I wasn't getting it. um, and it would be fine if I didn't have a specific yarn weight in mind for the finished yarn, but I want them to be light fingering weight. 2 to 3 ply, I haven't decided. I hadn't decided fully, so I'm still thinking about it. The one yarn that I do have, the one hand spun that I do have is a 3 ply, but I also don't mind mixing ply structures. So I haven't decided on that, but I was trying to spin thin and it just wasn't working. I think what I need to do is pull out some fiber that I don't have intention for and just spin it to get back into spinning on my wheel, and then I'll be able to spin thin. I know I can spin light fingering on my wheel. I've done it before. My hands just don't remember how right now. My hands and my feet, there's so much going on. So I just have to get back in practice. I need to spin a worsted decay or something first before I try to go for light fingering weight. Okay, really, that's all I have to say. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.